My name is Fiona, and welcome to this presentation on the physiological roles of ghrelin. Ghrelin has multiple physiological functions and is a gastrointestinal 28 amino acid peptide. Ghrelin helps to regulate gut motility, metabolic homeostasis, growth hormone secretion, and gastric acid secretion. The main site of production for ghrelin is the enteric nervous system of the stomach wall, or mucosa. It can be found in other tissues such as cardiac, adipose, reproductive, and hypothalamus. Other studies have noted that ghrelin stimulates the endogenous ligand for growth hormone release from the anterior pituitary, but its main function is to regulate hunger and metabolism. The parasympathetic nerve of the autonomic nervous system has an important role in the regulation of ghrelin. With excitation of the vagus nerve, ghrelin increases, though there are factors that can regulate the release of ghrelin: age, lactation, food consumption, fasting, and hormones. The next few slides will focus on the hormones that can affect ghrelin. Ghrelin stimulates gastric secretions, therefore is more active in the fasted state. When our bodies are in the fed state, insulin levels rise, inhibiting the release of ghrelin. Studies have shown that the glucagon receptor of the endocrine cells on the gastric mucosa will increase its concentration during fasting, which contributes to the increase of ghrelin. As somatostatin is an inhibitor of the growth hormone and gastric secretions, and ghrelin is related to both, it is only logical that somatostatin will have a negative feedback on ghrelin and inhibit its release. Leptin is secreted by adipose tissue, and in healthy people will be lower in concentration compared to overweight people where leptin is higher. With ghrelin being related to adipose tissue, the effect of leptin can either inhibit or increase ghrelin secretion. The ghrelin surface cell receptor belongs to G protein coupled receptors of the superfamily. As seen in these slides, when these transduction pathways are activated, the cascading second messengers cyclic AMP and IP3 and DAG kick into gear, activating a number of enzymes, in turn activating target proteins and a cellular response. After ghrelin is released by the stomach, it will cross the blood-brain barrier and transmit signals via the vagus nerve. In response to these signaling pathways, ghrelin will target a number of tissues, creating multiple physiological actions. Some of these are growth hormone secretion, stimulated by the ghrelin-induced cyclic GMP nitric oxide signaling pathway. Appetite and food intake. Ghrelin works via the vagus nerve by central and peripheral pathways to stimulate appetite. Ghrelin is secreted during the onset of a meal and during fasting, then will decrease after eating. Gastric secretion and motility. Ghrelin works with gastrin to stimulate gastric secretion and involves the vagus nerve along with histamine synthesis and release. Anti-inflammatory functions. Studies have shown that ghrelin will inhibit the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines, creating an anti-inflammatory effect for many bowel diseases. Studies have indicated that ghrelin plays a role in modulation of colonic inflammatory responses. The ghrelin receptors are expressed by macrophages, B cells, and dendritic cells, showing a significant anti-inflammatory effect. With most bowel diseases, there are numerous lesions and ulcers on the mucosa. This stimulates ghrelin receptors to increase secretions, in turn reducing the systemic inflammatory response of the diseased bowel. To have the various physiological effects and roles, ghrelin will cross the blood-brain barrier to connect with the anterior pituitary and vagus nerve. Ghrelin is a peptide hormone secreted by the stomach and also synthesized in other tissues. It has multiple roles, including appetite stimulation, growth production, gastric motility, and can suppress gastrointestinal disorders and disease. Well, I hope you liked this presentation, and I thank you for watching.